Hi and welcome to Empowering Your English Voice with me, Simon Brampton. I'm a teacher, a trainer and a coach with more than 33 years experience. And I'm going to use all that experience to help you today with 5 top tips for rehearsing, that is rehearse, ensayar, rehearsing your presentation in English, especially if you're not a native English speaker. And at the end of this video, I'm going to give you a special bonus tip about an app which is absolutely perfect for reviewing your presentation. So I'll tell you about that at the end. Tip number 1 or stage number 1 when you are rehearsing your presentation or talk is to write out or type out the complete script. Yes. Do you do that now? What do you do when you are preparing an important talk or presentation? Let me know in the comments. My recommendation for a very important talk or presentation is to write the complete script for that talk or presentation. It doesn't mean that you have to remember it word for word, but it makes it much easier to practice it. It will allow you to focus your attention to improve and make that presentation fantastic, as we will see in the following steps. If you don't have time, at the very least, write out the introduction and the end of your presentation. Rehearse it, memorize it, practice it. That's step 1. Let's move now to point number 2. This is called sound scripting. I mentioned this in a previous video, but here I'm going to tell you how to use it to rehearse your presentation. Sound scripting is editing your presentation, your script, for vocal characteristics, for your voice, the way you say the words and the sentences. I'm going to tell you about 3 main ways you can do this. Number 1 is using groups of words and dividing them using what we call chunks, pieces, trozos of a sentence of words. You can use a lot of words together before you have a break, and that gives fluency. Or if you just use a couple of words together, that will give you more emphasis. So now let's look at this very short part of the introduction to a presentation, and let's edit that for the chunks or the groups. At the end of each group or chunk, we can use a slash. This is normally where you would breathe. You can use 2 slashes for a longer pause or breath, for emphasis. For example, let's move now to the second point. The second point is sentence stress. This is where it becomes a little bit more complicated, but now you have your sentences, your chunks, we can add sentence stress. That is giving emphasis to certain words. You know, English has a rhythm, a bom, 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 like this, bom, bom, bom. The important words are emphasized, the little words are not, especially articles, prepositions, for example, are not given emphasis. The main words are. We can use bold, put the words in bold to show the words we want to emphasize or we want to stress. Let's do that now. When you do this and you rehearse it, you'll notice that suddenly you begin to get a little bit more English rhythm. Point number 3 in this section is using intonation or pitch, that is, your voice going up or your voice going down. What we use in this case is arrows. Arrows to go up, arrows in the middle, or arrows going down. In English, if the intonation goes up, then what we're saying is we haven't finished our sentence yet. We haven't finished the meaning of the sentence. We're giving the listener a little bit of expectation and anticipation. If the arrow is in the middle like this and flat, that means also we haven't completed the sentence. And finally, at the end of a sentence, we go down. The intonation goes down. And it tells the listener that we have completed the sentence or the meaning. It goes down. First it goes up and then it goes down. And you can mark this with arrows. Let's do that now. It's also at this stage when you can start adding what we call liaison, or putting the words together in a more natural way. But now's a good time to put the words together, linking them. Remember, consonant with a vowel, like this. It makes the sentence sound more natural as well. So we have 3 ways we can edit our script, which is called sound scripting, and this will help you focus on the way you say the talk or say the presentation, the way you deliver it. It will make a massive difference. If you've never done this before, it's going to transform the way you sound. Let's look now at the sound script. This is just one way you could read this, but we want to see the correspondence between the way I read it and the way we have edited it. They say Rome wasn't built in a day, and you could say that about many large companies. However, some modern tech companies like Facebook or Google have become empires almost overnight. So you see, that is one way you can use sound scripting to practice and rehearse the script and improve your voice. Now we've arrived at step number 3. This step is when you really start to rehearse. This is what I would call the read through. So you've sound scripted or edited your presentation or talk, and now is the moment to read through it, just like an actor with a script who begins to become familiar with the words and the sentences. It's at this stage when you may want to change the length of the sentence or change some of the words or eliminate or delete some of the words and change them for language that is a little bit more familiar, easier to use, or easier to pronounce. This is the moment where you're almost polishing the written script to make it easier to say. You want to feel comfortable with it. When you have completed this step, you feel comfortable now with the language, it seems correct, you can get somebody to look at your final script to make sure there are no mistakes or silly phrases that don't make sense. It's now when you can move to step number 4, where we're getting closer to the finished product. Let's find out what that is. Rehearse and record. Yes, now you've been practicing and hopefully memorizing your presentation or talk, this is the moment to listen to yourself. You can either do that by recording on your telephone, or even better, I recommend filming yourself. This has 2 advantages. Firstly, you can hear your voice and you can catch what I call filler words. Well, I don't call them, they're called filler words. What are they? Like, okay. Words which have no meaning, but people use a lot in gaps. Instead of not speaking, you fill the gap with like, It sounds irritating and annoying, so eliminate them. How can you eliminate them? Well, by listening to yourself. You honestly do not realize when you are using filler words. Take my word for it. I used to say, okay, again and again, and then somebody pointed out, did you know you said okay 30 times in that presentation? Hopefully, talking to you today, I haven't used even once. Okay? It's very easy to use them, but also with awareness to eliminate them. Number 2, if you have a video, you could also see your body posture and movements, body language. Your body language should be congruent. That is, that what you say and your body should say the same thing. They should be congruent. If you say no, it should mean no. Another thing is you can find and discover annoying habits with your hands, like touching yourself like this, or anyway, what I was talking about the other day was things like that, or rubbing your hands together, or just going backwards and forwards like this. There are so many things that you are not aware of. Believe me, it's only when you have a teacher, a coach, or you see yourself that you can begin to eliminate those annoying characteristics when you are presenting. Because really you do not know until somebody tells you. This is the stage. You record yourself and you see exactly, your opinion. What do you think? If you have nobody else, then you are the person that has to make those decisions. You have to decide how good your presentation is and where you can improve. That was a very, very important step. Let's go now to the 5th and final one. Right now, you should be pretty confident, and perhaps you have now memorized or learnt by heart your talk or presentation. What do you have to do now? You have to imagine that you are giving your talk or presentation. This is the dress rehearsal. Now, before you give any talk or presentation, or even before a meeting, you should always try to warm up your voice. Athletes, sports people, they all warm up their bodies before they do a race or they perform or compete. Your voice is only your vocal cords and they need to be warmed up before you speak. It will change the quality of your voice and make sure that your voice will be able to last for the whole of the talk or presentation. And before you begin, start to visualize the success you're going to have. So in point 5, you imagine that you're giving the presentation. You have your presentation slides, which I hope you've checked or had somebody check. You warm up, you have your slides, you know how long it's going to take you now, you've recorded yourself, and now this is the moment to use all of that rehearsal to give an absolutely amazing performance. It's going to be awesome because you have practiced, you have rehearsed. It's worth spending that time to give a fantastic performance and an amazing image. And when you do that, you'll feel more confident, you'll feel amazing, you'll feel great, and you'll have and give an amazing image to your audience in a foreign language, in English. That's the most important thing. Finally, as I promised you at the beginning, I have one extra bonus tip. And this is an app called Udly. Now, Udly is an app where you can record your presentation on their website and they give you real-time analytics. So as you speak, a transcript of what you're saying is made and then you get feedback afterwards on those filler words, appropriate words that you've used or not used, and also your pacing, which refers to how quickly you speak. That's just some of the things that it can do. So if you want instant feedback, then Udly could be a very useful tool for your talks or your presentations. I'm not being sponsored by Udly, but I think it's a very useful app. I'll leave a link in the description in case you'd like to know more about it. And that's it for today. We've looked at the 5 key steps that you need to take when you are rehearsing your talk or presentation in English. If you've enjoyed this video and you've found value in it, then give me a like, subscribe to the channel, that would be lovely, thank you very much, and hit that notification bell so that you know every time I upload a new video. Thank you for watching and I'll see you again very, very soon. Let me know how you're doing in the comments. Bye for now.